You both said today that you love each other, and I believe it. But I'm trying to tell you, love is not enough for a successful marriage. There's so many other things that go in it. It's not just about you anymore.
Here is today's case.
Miranda and Chase met online 3 years ago. A couple of years later, they became the picture-perfect family when they welcomed their now 7-month-old daughter. Now, their model family is in jeopardy since she says his past girlfriend is still in the mix. That's why they are here today in divorce court.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this is the case of Golden versus Kerner.
Thank you, Juan. Miranda Golden?
Yes, ma'am.
You have brought Charles Kerner
to
court today. Why don't you give me some background? Now, you've been dating for 3 years, engaged since February of this year?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't we start from the beginning?
When we first got together, we had a great connection. I just feel like things have kind of, went sour because he's untrustworthy, and I just don't feel like he's 100% committed to me. And I just want to get back to where we were when we first met.
What do you have to say about that, Mr. Kerner? Are you untrustworthy and uncommitted?
I feel like a lot of the time she gets upset with me. I mean, we had an incident when we had our daughter in the hospital where she got upset with me because I wasn't there for 1 day. When we were there for 3 days overall, like you spend a lot of time in the hospital and you get tired and all of that. And I pretty much went like missing. Pretty much.
I didn't hear from him all night.
What happened?
I mean, I fell asleep at the house, but like to her, in her eyes.
But he could have told me.
No, in her eyes, basically, I was like out on the streets, running the streets, like just AWOL.
What would anyone
What
have
happened
thought?
at the hospital?
I had preeclampsia, and I mean, I've never been sick or been in the hospital for anything ever, and I just feel like he could have been there for me,
So you were there for 3 days?
Yes.
And this was after giving birth to your child?
Yes.
Right? So you were there for 3 days, but what exactly do you say he did?
Well, he told me he was going to go to a friend's house and come back to stay with me in the hospital, but he just never came back.
What time do you say he left the hospital?
He probably left around 9:30.
At night?
Yes.
And what time did you finally hear from him the next day?
Maybe around 2:30 or 3.
2:30 or 3 in the afternoon?
Yes.
So what happened all day the next day?
I mean, being up for so long, I kind of just slept late. I didn't realize it. It was like 10 hours once I was up for so long. But I tried to explain it to her, and she really didn't believe anything I was saying, pretty much.
What do you think he was doing?
I mean, he could have been with anybody, doing anything.
But why do you jump to, because he wasn't there and he was gone and not answering the messages, that is a long time, even if you slept for 10 hours. 2:30 is, that's a half the day the next day. Yeah. But why do you jump to a conclusion that he was doing something nefarious?
Well, Your Honor, there have been situations in the past where his ex has called or texted, and she has, made claims that he was with her, or, they've had conversations with each other that he hasn't told me about, and I always find out not from him.
So you don't trust him?
Right.
And you really think that he would leave the hospital to go and be with another woman?
I would hope not, but I mean, who's to say what he's doing, Because if he wasn't doing that, why didn't he get back in touch with me? Why wouldn't he tell me where he was that night?
So and this happened just 7 months ago.
Yes.
But you got engaged a month later. If you have that level of mistrust in the relationship, where in your significant time of need, the first time you've ever been in the hospital for anything, you think he may have been with someone else, but a month later you accept a proposal? Why?
Well, he's just a really good charmer. He's got excuses for everything.
So you still don't trust where he was? You still don't believe him? But you went ahead with the proposal anyway. Why did you propose?
I mean, we get into these like little altercations where we don't trust each other, we fight really bad, there's a lot of distrust. But
why is there mistrust on your side?
I mean, we've been back and forth, and it started whenever she initially, we broke up originally. In the very first 6 months of us being together, we had an incident where we broke up, and she hooked up with one of my good friends. Where basically she went through my phone and seen I was talking to my ex. And
this was 6 months after the two of you started dating?
Yeah, we started dating, 6 months into it. she thinks I'm talking to my ex. She thinks that she's trying to get me back.
She said that.
Ma'am,
they
hold on a
were.
second.
And basically, in return, she spite me by, if I'm gonna go ahead and do this, if I'm gonna talk to a girl, she's basically gonna get me back.
And how does she go about getting you back?
She completely went Facebook official, social media official with this guy that I was like really worst enemies with.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's just to spite me.
Did you do that?
I did, Your Honor.
You know, Miss
I was
Golden,
very
you
upset.
did not strike me as that type of person. I've had a lot of people come in and they've told me about revenge relationships they've had and revenge hookups.
Right.
I did not expect that from Miranda Golden today.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either. But I was very angry because I had a very good friend at the time, and she told me that he tried to flirt with her, but he makes claims that she flirted with him. And I just don't see any proof of either side.
And the two of you are, several years out of high school. But somehow I'm not convinced you've left your high school ways.
I think he hasn't, really.
I don't think that.
Well, Miss Golden, what you've told me about him flirting, but he said you hooked up with someone he despises.
He ran around with his ex.
So if the two of you, if this
not-
is how the two of you choose to live your life in your relationships, because in happy, healthy relationships, these are things that we don't do. What we don't do is say, oh, well, you know what? I'm going to seek revenge by hurting them more than they hurt me. Revenge is really for the weak. But the two of you, after that was 6 months into the relationship. You don't go your separate ways. With that level of trust that's been broken, I am absolutely unsurprised we are here today.
I feel like he pays more attention to his social media accounts more than he does to me.
But what do you think about her saying that she doesn't like that you like all these photos of these other girls? She feels like you're giving attention to other women.
I don't think that that's really an issue.
What happened next?
We've always had this tight connection. Me and her,
Really?
which brought us back together all the time.
Was that before or after she slept with one of your friends?
Well, I mean, it was a combination. She only did that.
Frenemies.
She only did that because she's thinking I'm betraying her all the way.
So you managed to somehow look over that indiscretion and move on in love.
I do love her.
Okay.
I do love her. Sometimes I try to look over that, but that does still carry on and haunt me. You know what I mean? But like overall, like you can't be mad forever.
Do your exes continue to contact you?
She does, but not on the basis like trying to get with me. So she tries to get at me with random like texts, not flirtatious, but just the fact that she's texting me in general
Because
is like
she still
thinks
cares.
she's a girl, she knows what she's trying to do. But I mean I can't. I think that's control.
You can't
That's
control
kinda
what other
clingy.
people do, is what you're saying.
I can't control her texting me.
But can you control the content of the message in terms of what you say is appropriate or inappropriate? I mean, both of you have crossed so many boundaries of appropriateness in this relationship. I'm not sure you even know what's appropriate and not for the two of you. What's going on with social media?
I feel like he pays more attention to his social media accounts more than he does to me. I find that he has gone on there liking other females' pictures and things like that. And I'm really not okay with that because I don't do that to him and he wouldn't be okay with me doing that to, if I went and liked a guy's picture, he wouldn't be okay with that. Or if I was posting the kind of pictures of the girls that he's liking their photos, I'm not allowed to post something like that.
So how do you feel about her saying you're liking all of these photos of these other girls?
I feel like she's saying, I feel like if you like a photo, like what I think everyone likes photos on social media, likes posts, it doesn't mean that you're interested in that person, in my mind. But like, I guess that we've been through so much. Maybe I don't know. I keep trying to tell her like
But
that's
if
just
I
a
did
photo.
that,
Hold on
he
a
wouldn't be
second.
okay with it.
Sir?
I mean, I don't think that's really an issue. Yeah.
But what do you think about her saying that she doesn't like that you like all these photos of these other girls? She feels like you're giving attention to other women outside of their relationship through social media. What is your response to that?
I mean, I don't even really remember like some of these like statuses and pictures that I like.
Okay, let's just
It's
assume that
insignificant to me.
so they don't mean anything to you.
No connection to me. I'm not hunting or looking for a girl.
Okay, because that's what you think he's doing, giving other women
Absolutely.
attention.
She's pretty much like, she even threatens me when it comes to what I'm doing. Like, if I feel like basically, since we had all these traumatic experiences happen, she wants to basically say, oh, you liking a photo like this. She'll bring it to me, show me the photos, and then basically tell me like, oh, even go as far as message the person, say, oh, he wouldn't like me posting those photos, and almost want to do it out of spite to make me feel like what it would feel like, she feels like, I guess. I don't know, some revenge
Because
type.
in my opinion,
that is unsurprising.
yes, and I mean, in my opinion, I don't. If I go out of my way to look at somebody else's account or like their photos or try to get their attention, you know, that's why I'm doing it for. I'm trying to get their attention. I feel like that's what he's doing it for, you know?
What are your plans? Why do you want to be married?
Because I would like to get back to where we were when we first got together.
Okay,
you know,
that's
we
not
do
a reason.
have.
That's not a reason to be married.
Yeah, you're right. I guess because I do love him, and he is a really good father to our baby.
People can be good fathers and terrible husbands. Just so you know, not a reason to be married. What's a reason? Give me a good reason.
Wow.
But like this chemistry that we have is good, but like all of these obstacles in the way, it's hard to deal. But I can try to see past it. I want to be with her. Potential
is one of the worst reasons ever to make a lifelong commitment to someone. If you'd like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Missed a show? Watch full episodes on our streaming platforms, and for exclusive content, go to Apple TV. What are your plans? Why do you want to be married?
Goodness. Like I said, I guess just because I do love him and he does charm his way out of everything. And
before I share something with you, I want to ask you something, Mr. Kerner. Why did you propose? What is your reason? Why do you want to be married?
I do love her as well, you know, and you know, I feel like she has potential. We have potential. I feel like we've hit so many immature boundaries that like it's hard to come back from something like all of this stuff. But like this chemistry that we have is good. But like all of these obstacles in the way, it's hard to deal with that. But I can try to see past it. I want to be with her.
Potential is one of the worst reasons ever to make a lifelong commitment to someone. Let me tell you something, Miss Golden. The person who you want to marry, because let me tell you something about marriage. When you marry someone, it's like you win a pie-eating contest. So you won a pie-eating contest, you marry him. You know what you get? More pie, more of him.
yes, you're right.
You win a pie-eating contest. I know y'all from Mississippi. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You win. You marry her. You win the pie-eating contest. You know what you get? More pie. This is it. If you marry somebody's potential, you're setting yourself up for failure because you are looking and hoping that they're going to change and turn in and be someone that you're not. And
You're
a
right.
ring doesn't make somebody a good husband. Vows do not make somebody a good wife. Your decision to be grown up, responsible, mature adults and stop engaging in petty and vindictive behavior, that's what makes a relationship have a solid foundation and real.
I feel like we could get past this. Potentially, you're right. I mean, I guess everything has, but you can't be with someone for potential. And like, I feel like we're starting to try to bury all this stuff in the very beginning, but as far as like me and her, it feels like I have another daughter as well. I guess that could be another aspect of it. I'm not trying to sit up here and just pick out every worst thing about her, but like, we're starting to maintain, but I can't have two daughters. That's what it feels like I have.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, we're going over. I told you a little bit about all of these things, how she's on my social media, and went over a little bit of everything. Well, I mean, she's she's also like, she wants to be around me all the time because of this distrust, this clinginess.
But I wouldn't feel that way if he didn't make me. I wouldn't be clingy and not trust him on his word of where he was going if he didn't do things in the past where, I mean, I'd had reason to mistrust him.
So you're saying you feel like you have another child in addition to the 7-month-old that the two of you have together.
Yeah, I mean,
and you feel you have no other choice but to be clingy because he's untrustworthy.
She never, I wouldn't say, I don't know, it's like it's the budget, like our whole budget, working together basically. There's a lot of different aspects to this whole relationship she doesn't value.
Here's what we're gonna do here in this case, because you've come to divorce court not seeking a divorce, but with a question about marriage. Here's what we're gonna do here in this case, because you've come to divorce court not seeking a divorce, but with a question about marriage. You know, people always talk about when you're in your 20s and how that's a time for learning and growing. I believe that, but I've seen some very mature 26-year-olds. I don't see that in front of me today.
Yeah.
So the two of you have a child now. So you got to put your adult pants on and parent a child that you've brought into this world. But in terms of how you treat each other, truly happy marriages are based on a deep friendship and a mutual respect and loyalty and love for one another. You cannot think that you are going to be hyper vigilant and catch him before something happens all the time.
I just want to
no way
say
to
on
live.
his, whenever he says that he feels like, you know, he takes care of me as I'm his daughter or something like that.
The only reason why I said that she was really like a daughter of mine.
Okay, I've heard enough. What I just said about the two of you, that stands. And because your relationship is really never going to have any trust if one of you doesn't decide to be the bigger person, even if the other one slights you in some kind of way. What really matters most when you really want to demonstrate love, look at how you treat each other when you don't like each other. It's easy to be nice to someone when you like each other, but how do you treat someone when you're going through adversity, when you're going through the tough times? Because marriage is about a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys. And if every single time the two of you are going to a valley, that you think the best way to handle it is to try to out-hurt or out-harm one another, you are in for a long, dangerous, unhappy, sad life.
Can I come back from something like this? I want to work on it. I want to get past that. I just don't, I'm just not sure if it's possible.
That's the first step. Knowing that there's been a problem, knowing that there's been a breach, that's the first step. And the first step for you, you're going to have to risk being hurt. There is a risk every time you get into a relationship, and you have to be willing to take the risk. And if that means, you know what, I might get hurt, that's life.
I guess we're being so vulnerable, I guess it's a hard angle for both of us. We just keep hurting each other over and over.
And that's how you know that you're not in a relationship that's functioning. There's no need to move forward if you can't handle the present. Marriage does not make it better. It only brings more challenges. And if you don't know how to work together as a team, you won't be able to handle it. Work on yourselves and the way you want to treat each other in this relationship. Don't marry potential.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
That's my advice to you. Good luck.
I think she's absolutely right. We have a lot of things that we need to work on, but I think we could get somewhere if I could trust him 100%. If he could be 100% committed to me, I could be happy with him, you know?
You know, we're gonna move forward and try to be a family. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna get through this. She was right. A lot of the stuff she said was right. Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to stop disappearing on me and leaving me whenever I need you the most.
I got you.